Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan and it's double upload day, so we are doing my Game Week 12 team selection today as well as the video I uploaded earlier, the tier list video. So content's coming like crazy, guys. If you are appreciating the content right now, please do hit the like. It really does help out the channel so much, and please do subscribe as well if you're new around here. But I reckon today, let's just get straight on with it because time is a ticking before that Game Week 12 deadline. Alright guys, so here we have my Game Week 11 scores, and I have to be kind of honest, it's been a kind of a disappointing game week. It's not been like a destructive game week, it's not been a game that's ruined me or anything like that, but certainly there was no progress made. A small red arrow down 100,000 places because of that 44 score. Now I know a lot of people didn't have super high scores this game week. It was a pretty low scoring game week in general, and if you're going to have a bad game week or an average game week, I guess, this is the kind of game week you want to have one in. You want to have a good game weeks where the scores are much higher. So I'm not panicking or anything like that, and to be honest, I still do like a lot of my players. I still thought a lot of them played very well, although there was a few disappointments in there. Obviously, Webster and Brighton not keeping the clean sheet. We had Anderson getting a yellow card. He could have been on some bonus points if it weren't for that. Madison doing an absolute madness getting his yellow card. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a moment. And Bowen, I thought, played really well, provided plenty of chances for Skamaka, but Skamaka couldn't finish on the day, unfortunately. And then we had the likes of Zaha, Martinelli, and all these other players, Haaland, who we all thought would do really well, who just didn't. But returns for Harry Kane, which is very nice, and Mitrovic as well was decent to get him back involved and back on the score sheet. So it was okay. It wasn't anything good, but it was okay. Let's try and do better next game week, because I feel like, particularly in Game Week 11, a lot of the people who would have done well are people with the likes of, you know, Saka and Saliba maybe, and those are the kind of people who would be in trouble. So a lot of people who are heavy on Arsenal probably did quite well in Game Week 11, for example. But let's see how they can do in Game Week 12, and can we capitalise on that? Can we try and catch them up? I think there's some possibilities to do that. Okay, 2 free transfers, 2.3 million in the bank. So we've got loads to play with today. We've got a decent amount of money to play with and loads of transfers to use as well. So you will see in a minute, guys, that my team is kind of not perfectly set up for this game week. But we had made sure that we prepared with plenty of free transfers and money in the bank to make those moves to try and build that perfect Game Week 12 team. So we don't need to wildcard. So that's what the whole plan was around Game Week 12. Just make sure, like, not wildcard, I mean free hit, sorry, really. Well, all wildcard, to be fair. But yeah, make sure that we're in a situation where we're prepared for this very dodgy game week that is going to cause a lot of people a lot of headaches. So let's start off in goal and move our way forward after that. Let's start off with Nick Pope in goal. Everton at home is a very decent fixture for Pope. We know that Everton have not been scoring a lot of goals recently. They don't really have that attacking firepower right now, which is kind of disappointing for them. But I do think this presents a real opportunity for a clean sheet, particularly at home. This is one of those fixtures that we have been targeting with our Newcastle defenders. So hopefully we can get a clean sheet from Pope and maybe a few save points as well. I still think that maybe Pope is maybe a little bit too expensive. If I was on a wild card right now, for example, I probably would not be going for Pope. But in terms of goalkeepers that you expect to get points this game week, and points may be kind of hard to come by this game week, I think Pope is definitely up there. Into defence, we have got Webster. So Webster was a player that I did bring in with the anticipation of this game week, because I thought, you know, we've got a Nottingham Forest at home game for Brighton. Surely that is one of the best opportunities you can have all season for a clean sheet. So I'm really hoping for that from Webster. I really like Webster as well because of his attacking threat. He is, you know, out of all of the Brighton defenders, he's generated the most XG so far this season. He has taken way more shots than any of his teammates. He seems to be the target man from those corners and free kicks. When they're being whipped in, Webster seems to be the one that they're aiming for, which is really nice to see. So who knows? You never know. You could even get lucky and get a cheeky goal here. You've got to be in it to win it, right, guys? You've got to be in it to win it. So fingers crossed he can do quite well. Clean sheet, we hope for that as an absolute minimum. He's doing quite well for underlying bonus point system points as well, so maybe bonus points as well if the clean sheet is kept. Overall, it's a decent player for this game week, that's for sure. Next up, we've got Anderson, so another 4.5 million defender. We've gone pretty heavy on the 4.5 million defenders, guys. You are going to see by the end of this video. Anderson, another player who we did bring in with the kind of anticipation of this was a good game week for him. Let's get some cheap players in that we can just have for cover in game week 12, and then we can bench them in subsequent game weeks. So that's what we're going to be doing. Similar situation with Anderson, although to be fair, he has got some okay fixtures coming up, around. So we're going to be rotating Webster, Anderson, and my next defender as well over the following game weeks. But for right now, Wolves, another fixture which is just seemingly perfect for those clean sheets. If you want a clean sheet, then Wolves is not a bad fixture to try and go and get one in, right? So Anderson's still a bit of a differential. Another guy who is a bit of an aerial threat. He's an absolute giant. And we know how the likes of Haaland and Billing, these Scandinavian giants, have been doing so well in FPL recently. I want Joachim Andersen to be added to that list of great goal scorers who are big and Scandinavian. So fingers crossed for Andersen. Come on, let's go. This is a great opportunity, right? Next up, we've got Tyrone Mings. Another 4.5-ish centre-back who I've actually had for a while. He's been kicking around on my bench, occasionally playing for me, I suppose, over the last few game weeks. Again, he was another one of those players who I wanted to get that cheap-ish defender in, ready for this game week against Fulham, to make sure I have that cover. So believe me, guys, I've been planning for Game Week 12 for a long while. I really hope that it can start actually paying dividends. I really do. Yeah, again, slightly differential. Fulham away, not sure if it's a great fixture. It's a good fixture. You know, there's an opportunity for a clean sheet there, particularly as Aston Villa have actually been reasonably good in keeping it fairly tight at the back. I know they had a bit of a disaster against Chelsea, but that's not something we're expecting to happen every game week, you know. So potential for clean sheet, potential for attacking returns. And again, he's another one of those aerial threats. You can see a trend here, guys, with the kind of centre-backs I like to go for. Yes, they're very cheap, but I also like to make sure that they're also kind of target men from those set pieces. And when you've got three of them all playing in fairly decent fixtures in the same game week, there's a chance, you know, I don't know, maybe there's a 20%, 30% chance that one of them gets something, a goal or a knock-on or assist kind of thing. I feel like it could kind of happen. Like, I can kind of see it in a way. I'm hoping anyway. Maybe I'm being too ambitious here. And finally, we've got Patterson, who is going to have to be on the pitch because obviously everyone on my bench has not got no fixtures. So my bench is just full of Man City and Arsenal players. So Patterson is going to be one of the players that we're going to be replacing. I've actually already replaced him, but I will talk about that in a moment. But there we go. Let's put him on the pitch for now. Patterson, the 4 million unfortunately injured defender. I wish he was fit, man. I wish he's so good for his price. He could be when he's fit again, he could be the answer to our 4 million defender problems. But we'll save that conversation for another day. Moving into midfield, we've got the villain, I guess he's the villain of Game Week 11, right? Waits to the 94th minute to get himself a yellow card, his 5th yellow card of the season. And by the way, Maddison is not a player who gets a lot of yellow cards. I think he only got 5 yellow cards the entirety of last season. But because he got his 5th yellow card within the first half of this Premier League season, that means that he is going to be suspended for Game Week 12, which I know it's going to be a real disaster for a lot of people. We all kind of had a good eye on Maddison, thought, you know, he can last us a few good game weeks, he can do well, he can cover us in Game Week 12 when we're trying to make sure we have those players maximised. Fortunately, it wasn't to be. This is FPL, this is football, things happen, we have to deal with that. So Maddison is going to be another player who I am going to be removing today. Remember, 2 free transfers, so it's not going to cost us anything unless we do something a little bit crazier, but we'll get there, guys. I don't want me to keep teasing you, but we will get there. Right, next up, Jared Bowen against Liverpool. Liverpool, have they shored up defensively? They seem to really improve defensively against Man City. They worked their socks off, mind you. So I wonder if there is going to be a bit of fatigue. Now, I did say last game week, Bowen, I actually did like the look of him in Game Week 11. I thought he created a lot. I thought he was in some really dangerous positions as well. I thought, you know, this is still a very good FPL asset. And I know people are going to be disappointed by the blank, but I still think he's a pretty good player to own. So he is a player I want to continue to own for a few more game weeks potentially. This Liverpool game, I don't know what kind of Liverpool are going to show up. I don't know how West Ham are going to set up and try and counter Liverpool in a way. Maybe if Liverpool do play it very high up, play a very high line, that is going to give opportunities for players like Bowen to hit on the counter-attack in a way. So I like it. We've seen him do that kind of thing in the past against the big teams. He has performed well against big teams before because he likes to break the line. So yeah, again, I'm not concerned. I know Liverpool away is like a bad fixture, right? But this is one I'm not really concerned by. The quality of the player, the form of the player, which I still think is good. And, you know, the matchup I quite like as well, to be fair. Let's move on into Zaha, who has been kind of disappointed, playing a little bit wider than perhaps we'd like him to in recent games. We want to play him to play in central, right? We want him to play this central striker. That's what made him such a great FPL asset at the beginning of the season. But Odsonne Edouard's form has kind of meant that that's not going to happen. Zaha still seemed to be in some reasonably dangerous positions over the last couple of game weeks. I still think there is opportunities to score an assist from open play for sure. But again, he's another player with penalties. So just like Bowen, who's on penalties, which is another, you know, you never know when you're going to get a penalty, right? Zaha is also on penalties as well. So looks good. Fingers crossed he can maybe get something. You know, 1 goal would be plenty. Wolves are not as fantastic defensively as they have been kind of historically. I don't know if Wolves are now a bad defence necessarily. I wouldn't say that. I'd say they're kind of a mid-level defence. So I still think this is an opportunity for the likes of Wilf Zaha. So yeah, let's get it, Wilf. It might be his last opportunity because I am thinking about moving him to Phil Foden, Saka, someone like that over the next couple of game weeks, maybe even in game week 13. So it could be his last chance to troll us or not troll us. Let's find out. And finally, we've got Andreas. So Andreas Pereira is kind of the saviour of a lot of us right now. He has actually been performing reasonably well. He's got returns in his last 2 game weeks, which is really nice. That really helps build some confidence in us actually playing him this game week. So yeah, happy days there, I suppose. Aston Villa at home. Not sure how I feel about this fixture. It's a home fixture, and Fulham have proven that they can score goals against pretty much anyone. But Aston Villa, aside from their slip up last game week, have shown to be tightening up a little bit defensively. I've been reasonably impressed with Aston Villa from a defensive point of view. They still can't attack, but, you know, they're capable of keeping a clean sheet or two. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Is Andreas going to get anything? Do I want the Mings clean sheet? Unfortunately, because we're dealing with limited teams, unfortunately, sometimes our attackers are going to be playing against our defenders. That's just kind of how it's going to have to be. So I'd say because I'm doubled up on the Fulham attack, I guess I want Mings' clean sheet to be wiped out in a way. Maybe Mings can score a corner header at the other end. That would be pretty nice. I think I would be very, very, very happy with that. But Andreas, he's on some set pieces as well, depending on if Willian is playing. Sometimes Willian takes them. And he's playing in that advanced attacking midfield position as he has been all season. So still a very, very good FPL asset and still the best guy at his price in my opinion. So let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can grab another cheeky assist or goal like he has done in the last couple of game weeks. Moving up front, we've got Harry Kane, Mr. Consistent. He played very well last game week against Everton. Perhaps unlucky not to get a little bit more out of that game, but he did score the penalty. Again, with penalties, you never know what you're going to get. We've got one more player in our team who did score a penalty. So yeah, last game week was kind of all about the penalty takers in a way, right? It was set piece galore. So yeah, Harry Kane against Manchester United. Do I like this fixture? I don't love it. But at the same time, in terms of premiums right now, there's very limited options because we've got no Man City and, you know, Manchester United premiums. We're probably not going to touch them. Liverpool are there as well. We've got Salah there potentially, but Harry Kane is kind of just one of the premiums, I guess. So you never know. Like, the thing is with the premiums is they score in any game, which is the good thing. So I do still feel like Harry Kane can get something out of this game. It's only going to take a penalty. It's only going to take a moment of brilliance. He's still chasing goal scoring records and stuff like that. So he's still going to be very, very hungry. Unfortunately, I do think that Spurs are going to be lining up with 3 forwards, judging by managers' comments. I would really like to see Kane and Son in a duo up front. I would say that Kane in that 2 up front with kind of 3 centre mids behind him. I think that is the perfect scenario for Kane, really, but I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. So let's see. The fixtures upcoming are kind of mid. That Bournemouth away game, I don't even know if that's an amazing fixture. So yeah, some concerns around Harry Kane, but he's been so consistent that you can't complain, can you? You certainly can't complain about Harry Kane. And finally, we've got Mitrovic, who is, again, against Aston Villa. I'm not sure what to feel about this one, but Mitrovic he's back. And I'm so glad he's back because we have been kind of looking for that forward who can do the business, and a lot of people did sell Mitrovic. So those of you guys who kept on or like held on to him, you're going to be very happy right now because even if he doesn't get anything against Aston Villa, you know, we've got Leeds and Everton at home after that. These are some really nice fixtures, so I'm really looking forward to him just being back, seeing what he can do from open play, maybe grab a penalty along the way as well. Who cares? As long as we're getting FPL points, we're very happy indeed. And we know the quality of this forward, don't we? We know the quality of this striker, so I quite like that as well. On to the bench, guys. Iverson, not going to play him ahead of Pope. We've got Haaland, Cancelo and Martinelli as well, who don't have fixtures, so they're non-options, unfortunately. So the question is, what are we going to do with our 2 free transfers and all of that cash in the bank? There's a lot of money to splash, you know. Now, I should firstly say, I think I already mentioned this earlier on in the video, but I'll say it again. Patterson has already been replaced. I've replaced him with another defender that you probably have noticed is wildly missing from this team. He's going to be coming in. So that's coming. After that, it's kind of down to I have 3 options, and I'm going to tell you all 3 options that I'm thinking of, and then I'll finally tell you the one that I'm most likely to do. But I don't want to commit right now, guys. I'm sorry I can't tell you my exact transfer plans, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking, and maybe you can kind of feedback and let me know what you think, and I'll read through some of the comments, and I'll probably make a decision this evening what I'm going to do. We'll try and keep you relatively up to date. But anyway, so the three options. The first option is the safe option. So the first option is the safe option. So Patterson to Trippier. Done. Easy transfer move. Did that last night. Caught the price rise in time, so we're ahead of the game in that respect. Then we could take Maddison out and replace him with Trossard. Trossard for 1 game week punt, I believe, is the best option. I know people are going to say Mason Mount did well last game week. Fine. I know people are going to say Raheem Sterling. I'm worried about the Chelsea rotation. I'm worried that Mount may not be able to consistently return. He is massively overperforming, and I do feel like he was slightly gifted in a way. His returns last game week, like obviously if you got the points from him, congratulations, stick it out with him. But for a 1 game week punt, in terms of those slightly cheaper midfielders that we're probably going to move to a Foden or a Saka in game week 13, Trossard is my number 1 pick. There's no doubt about that. Game against Nottingham Forest, he's been super attacking, playing in that real attacking midfield, second striker kind of position. Could even play false 9 potentially in this game. And he's in good form, and he's confident as well, which is really nice to see. So loads to love about Trossard. Even if money is no object, Trossard is my favourite 1 week punt in midfield. However, there are some other options. So I've got a crazy one for you that I tweeted out earlier on today. So I'll kind of talk about that crazy one. Now, I kind of want to get in Salah. Because I believe Salah to be, at this point, I believe Salah to be the best captaincy option for the game week. Yes, the fixture is not amazing against West Ham, but Salah's positioning and his, he looked so sharp in that game against Man City. He really did look like he was back. Like, it looked good, and I really want to catch that early rather than late. I don't want to be regretting this decision later because I didn't go in on Salah quick enough. And obviously the captaincy as well. And Liverpool have some fantastic fixtures moving forward. They've got Nottingham Forest next game week. So getting that Liverpool attacker is going to be very nice. Also, he scored a hat-trick in the Champions League against Rangers a few days prior to that. So, yeah, it's looking good. And he's playing as a striker. And he's nailed on. I know we're looking for Liverpool attackers. He's the nailed on guy. So, yeah, I could go on and on about how good Salah is looking as a potential FPL option right now. We know what he's done in the past. You guys shouldn't take too much convincing that when Salah is at the top of his game, he really is almost essential in FPL terms. So, he's a player I want. So, what we could also do is get Salah in for Maddison. We'll have to downgrade to Harry Kane. What is the perfect striker? The perfect forward to get in right now? Maybe Firmino. Firmino, his expected points per 90 is only second to Haaland this season. He has been in phenomenal form whenever he's been on the pitch. He's really been doing so well, and I really like the Liverpool fixtures as well. So, Maddison to Salah, Kane to Firmino. But I can't quite afford that, so I'd have to do one more move, and that would involve downgrading Nick Pope to Kepa, Arrizabalaga. I kind of want to do that. I kind of like the look of Kepa as a goalkeeper moving forward. Played really well last game week. And he seems to be nailed on now. He's the goalkeeper of choice under Graham Potter. So lots to like about Kepa. And he's only 4.4 million. What a bargain for a Chelsea defender, I suppose. Especially if he's nailed on now. So that is an option as well. That would be a -8 though, because it would be 4 transfers, which is why it's so crazy. And it's why I'm not fully convinced by that. So the final option, I'd say this is the medium, not too safe, not too risky, somewhere in the middle that I think is probably the right move as things stand right now. This is the most likely move I'm going to make, is the following guys. So, Trippier, the Patterson out for Trippier. That costs a little bit of money, so we need to downgrade Kane and get in Solanke to free up some more cash in order to upgrade Maddison to Salah. So it's a triple transfer, a -4 taken, and we've essentially replaced Maddison and Kane for Solanke, who had plays against Southampton, which is really nice, and Salah, who plays against West Ham, and then Nottingham Forest the following game week. So I like this a lot. We've got Trippier in there as well, and suddenly you look at my team and you think, wow, it's not perfect for game week 12, but it's pretty close, this team in front of me right now. I look at this team and I think, you can't do, even if you were on a free hit right now, you can't do too much better than this. Obviously you can improve this. If you have a free hit, you can get whatever place you like, but this is pretty much as good as it gets in terms of a Game Week 12 team without using a free hit. And we've only had to take a -4 in order to do it. So I like this team a lot. Let's put the captain's armband on Salah because like I said, I do feel like he's probably the best captain for the game week. He's like the premium with a okay fixture, and he's showing some form and some sharpness, and he's playing as a striker despite being the fact that he's listed as a midfielder. He gets the clean sheet points, which I think there is a chance that Liverpool do get a clean sheet there, and also the extra point for a goal. So much to love about midfielders that are, you know, essentially strikers who are listed as midfielders, right? We'll put the vice captain. This is difficult. I guess we could put it on like Trippier or Solanke. I'm kind of at a loss in a way. Let's put it on Trippier because he has been Mr. Consistency. But like, look, if you've got a team like this, you're probably just going to captain Salah, to be fair. So yeah, Solanke as well on penalties. That really helps. He could have had a few penalties, so maybe he's going to get one final this week. And he seems to be pretty sharp, pretty in form at the moment. A lot of points in the last couple of game weeks, but it's the performances that I care about a little bit more. And there's a lot of confidence going around at Bournemouth as well because they're not losing games, which is good. And Southampton, by the way, looked pretty tragic defensively last game week as well. I think their defence is just absolutely mudded. So overall, I think just by taking a -4, I've created a fantastic team. I've left money in the bank so I can take the likes of either Zaha or Bowen to a Foden, take the other one to a Saka the following game week. We can start upgrading those midfielders. You know, when Mitrovic plays against Man City, I'll still have enough to upgrade Mitrovic to a Tony, who I believe plays Nottingham Forest in that game week. There is lots of potential for me going forward, as well as having a solid team for Game Week 12. It's kind of lining up everything. And I think the biggest thing that's allowed me to do that is by taking all of the money out of defense and going for loads of cheap defenders. It's just allowed me so much flexibility. So I don't need to take a -4. Low-key want to take a -4. I like this team a lot. Let me know what you think, how many points you think this team is going to get in Game Week 12. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Sorry I did go on a little bit longer, but, you know, it's a complicated game week in a way where there's lots of things going on and we're all trying to figure out the different ways we can kind of navigate the situation. But if you did enjoy, please do leave a like. A massive shout out to the like squad, all of you guys who like every video. You guys are absolute legends. You guys are absolute goats, so keep that going. Really do appreciate you so much. And do subscribe if you're new around here as well, and maybe see how my team gets on next week. I think it could be pretty good, and it's not long until the following deadline. Game Week 13 is only around the corner, so we'll have plenty of content for that as well. Make sure you go check out some of the other videos I've made for Game Week 12. We've done loads over the last couple of days. We've done so many videos, so hopefully that's going to help you out with some of the questions that you might have. And that's pretty much it from me today. So I'll see you tomorrow for the deadline stream, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.